Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today we're going to be working on Trixy the Bat pencil topper. He's part of my Halloween collection. I have 5 Halloween pencil toppers in that collection. Trixy is one of them. Yes, and we're going to today's tutorial, which will be tutorial part 1. We're going to work on his body. Alrighty, let's get started. So for Trixy, to make Trixy, I do have a kit and I will put a link in the description below. Otherwise, what you'll need to make Trixy is, if you're a beginner, 3.5mm hook, I recommend. Otherwise, if you're crocheting for a while, go smaller because the tighter you're stitching, the better it is. So with the kit, you'll get purple yarn, grey, black and white, and some practice yarn. You'll get obviously the hook, some eucalyptus fibre hobby fill, which is beautiful and soft and all natural, which is great. You'll get this very handy stitch marker and a tapestry needle. Alrighty, let's get started. So we're starting with the purple today. We're working on Trixy's body. Okay, to start off with, I always leave a tail and I make a slip knot and I wrap it around my finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull it over the front loop. And then once more I grab the tail and I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger. Then I grab the back loop, pull it over the front loop again. And now we've got this loop that we can put on a hook and loosen and tighten as needed. We are going to chain 2. I'll also put a link in the description below where you can purchase a written pattern, but today this is the pattern that I will be showing you today. Alrighty, we're going to chain 2, and the way I like to hold my yarn is I get my pinky and I hook it under the yarn just here like this. I turn and my pointer goes under the yarn here, and my index finger and my thumb come around and lightly hold my work. And this is your working yarn. Nothing's tight. The pointer is keeping it straight, which makes it easier to work with. And nothing's tight, but the closer you hold your work to the crochet hook, the easier it is to work. Alright, let's get started. We're going to chain 2, so going yarn over or putting a hook under the yarn and pulling it back through the loop on a hook. That's 1. Then going under the yarn and pulling it back through the loop on a hook. That's 2. So the pattern says to put 5 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. So here's our hook. This is our first chain, if you see that V shape there. And this is our second chain. We can't work into the first chain because it just undoes. So we want to go into the second. And so it's easier if you just go through that little bit of a knot and then pull out that bottom loop of the second. Make it a little bit bigger. Just pull it out and we can tighten it later. And that way you can see where you're going to put your stitches. Now just turn your hook and put your hook into that chain stitch, into that stitch that we just made a bit bigger. We're going to do 5 single crochets. So we're going into the chain stitch, yarn over, pulling a loop back through that chain, 2 loops on our hook, then yarn over, pull through both. That's our first single crochet. Going into the same place, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, that's 2. Into the same stitching, we're going to do 5. Now that's 3, so into the same place, yarning over, pulling up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both, 4, and now 5. And that completes round 1. And I know it's tiny. You can pull it tight now, pull that centering. Alright, we're moving on to round 2. So just, you're looking for the first stitch. Now each stitch has what's called a front loop and a back loop. So here's our front loop, here's our back loop. We're going to put our hook under both those loops for the first stitch. So, and we're now going to increase, so we're making the body a little bit bigger. So putting our hook into that first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So we're now putting 2 stitches into every stitch around until we have 10 stitches. So we're going to put another stitch into this same place, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. So we're doing single crochets all the way along. So that's 2. Now you can get, if you want, you can get your stitch marker and put it here at the very first stitch that we just did to keep your place, so you know when you get back to that you're up to round 3. So now moving to the next stitch along, we're putting a hook under both those loops of the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's now we're going, that's the first stitch for that one. Now we're going to put another stitch into the same stitch, so we're doing 2 single crochets into every stitch back to our stitch marker. Okay, so moving to the next stitch, and here we're going to do 2 single crochets into the same space. And then moving along, so we want to end up with 10 at the end of this round. So that's why we're doing 2 single crochets into every stitch. And then into the last stitch, we're doing 2 single crochets. And you should find, if you remove your marker and count the stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so that completes round 2. We're now up to round 3. So going into the first stitch of the round, we're going to put 2 single crochets into this stitch. So into the first stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. Into the same stitch, doing the same single crochet. We're doing 2 stitches into that round, and put your stitch marker back in for the very first stitch to keep your place. Now the next stitch along, we're just doing 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch after that we're going to do 2 single crochets. So we're increasing still, and then 1. So we're just going to repeat that stitch combination of 2 stitches, then 1, all the way around back to our stitch marker, and we should have 15. So now we're doing 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet, now 2, and then 1, then 2, and then 1, and you should find that you have 15. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So at this point we're going to take our tail, pull it tight, grab your tapestry needle, and you're just going to weave in and out of the stitching at the back. And it's just to secure it and make sure that it doesn't come undone. So just going in and out, back and forth all around. There's no right or wrong. Just tucking it away and making it nice and secure. And once you're happy with that, get your scissors and trim it. And you can leave that because it's going to be on the inside. Okay, we are now up to round 4. So this time it's just 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 15 stitches. So round 4 to 6, which is 3 rounds in total, we're going to do 1 single crochet into every stitch for the 15 stitches. So you're going to do that for 3 rounds. So I'll do this round with you. So round 4, so just doing a normal single crochet. So just 1 single crochet into that first stitch and put your stitch marker around. So that's, you can count it if you want. You want 15. Or you can put your stitch marker in. So that's 2. So I'm just doing 1 single crochet into every stitch around. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You don't really need to count it with the stitch marker in. Sometimes it's handy. 12. And 15. Right, so now you need to do another 2 rounds like that. So just putting 1 single crochet into every stitch for each of the 15 stitches, and do that twice. And I will get back to you at the end of round 6 to do round 7. Okay, just completed round 6, so now up to round 7. And here we are going to decrease, and we're going to just make the neck of our bat. So we're decreasing this time. So decreasing means joining 2 stitches together, and here we're going to use the single crochet stitch. So we're going into the first stitch, then yarn over, pull up a loop, and now we're going into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops in your hook, so we're joining these 2 stitches together, then yarn over and pull through both. So now you can put your stitch marker in here. Then the next stitch along is just 1 single crochet, and now we're going to do a decrease. So into this stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch right beside it, yarn over, pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, and then just a normal single crochet. Now we're going to do a decrease again, so into this stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up another loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3, then a single crochet into the next stitch, and now we're doing a decrease. So we're just repeating decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, all the way back to our stitch marker. So that was single, now we're doing a decrease, and now a single crochet. Okay, so that completes round 7, and we're up to round 8. So just check to make sure you've got 10 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're just going to do 1 row of 1 single crochet into every stitch around for the 10 stitches. So 1 round of that, so just doing 1 single crochet into every stitch until you get back to your stitch marker. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that completes tutorial part 1 for Trixie the Bat. And I will, don't cut your yarn because we make the body and the head as one. So leave that attached, but in the next tutorial we will work on his head and his ears and his eyes. And I will see you in tutorial part 2. Thank you.